Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. Today we're going to make this sweet card as a last minute gift possibly, because inside we have a gift card holder and we're going to be using just a few simple products. Let me put this aside here where you can still see it. We're using sweet candy canes and the matching die set called Candy Cane Dies. I have to tell you a secret. Going forward, Stampin' Up! Is actually going to name the stamp set and either the punch or the matching die set by the same name so we can find them. Right now, I have to put both on there so that I can figure out which one is which. But anyway, we'll be using these. And we're also going to be using the gift card. It's called a mini pocket envelope die, which is just this piece here. You can do this just by cutting it out and making a few folds, but it's kind of convenient to have it all in there. There's some other really neat dies on there. I didn't use the ribbon, but look how cute it is. So I can just show you how I made that up real cute. I just didn't happen to end up using it on this particular die. So the first thing we're going to do, let me give you some measurements and they'll be posted below if you're on my blog. If you're on YouTube, you can go to the link on my blog and that will give you the dimensions. But basically we're using a card base, which I don't happen to have right here, which is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. We're using a piece of DSP, which covers the whole front. And I did that purposely because I wanted as much of this stripe pattern to show without cutting it off. So I did use the whole card front, if you will. We're using a piece of real red that is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Inside for the piece of DSP, because it's so, 12 by 12, you don't have to scringe on it, but you can actually make one out of regular cardstock by cutting it at 4 1/4 by 5.5, which is so you can make 4 in one. You have to be very careful when you place it. I made this 4.5. So you can see there's very little room. It does fit though, so you can actually get 4 out of one piece of cardstock. Because I already had some layers on top of that, I didn't want the thickness of the cardstock, so I'm using a piece of DSP. The card or the DSP that we're using is called, I always have to look because it's all different, which will change. It's Sweetest Christmas DSP. And one of the sheets, along with lots of stripes on both sides, this one has stripes as well, but there's 2 whole sheets of these candy canes. And it's really nice because, and I know other companies do it as well, but Stampin' Up! Has really gone to some trouble to make sure that they always have some matching dies. You see it a lot with the flowers, etc. Actually, I want to get the green one. So I'm going to step away. I'm going to go ahead and tape these down. You don't need to watch me do that. I will quickly go ahead and stamp so you can watch me stamp, because that's important. The sentiment that is on the tag holder, I guess you would call it. When you stamp it, you have to keep in mind that it is a little bit larger, so you can't like do it real close, but I'll go ahead and stamp this and then take the section and I will tape those down, take them to my stamp cut and emboss machine, and I will be back once this is all done. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I went ahead and cut out the sentiment. I cut out the pocket, the mini envelope, and I cut out the candy canes. As you can see, they fit very closely together, but they do indeed fit. And sometimes you don't get them quite where you want them, which is okay. That's probably poor planning on my part because these usually are perfect. So just because I can and because it's a straight line, I'm going to go ahead and trim a little bit of this white just because I would prefer to cut it out better next time, which I can do next time. So that cleans that side up a little bit, as does this. And usually, like I said, you know, I'm usually okay with the amount of white that was on there, but that was just a little bit too much. And that was my fault because I didn't put it in the right spot. So we have our card base. And I'm just going to go ahead, we'll put these aside a second. I'm going to go ahead and put some liquid glue on the back of this so it can start to settle and dry. I have a new glue bottle and man, I have to be careful not to squirt it out too far. And like I said, this is this whole front side. The only reason I have these big ones is so they can hold on to that. All right. So now we can go ahead, and the candy canes were also glued directly down on this because, again, I knew that we were going to be having some dimension on it otherwise. So I'll go ahead and add a little bit of glue. Well, maybe I will. Yeah, I will. Like I said, I'm afraid to squeeze because I've got some good gluing going on here. And it's kind of centered top to bottom with a slight angle. It doesn't really matter unless you've got them like completely crossed or completely parallel. That would be terrible, but that's about right. All right, we'll let those sit there for a minute. Now, the piece of garden green ribbon was part of the suite. You got the real red and the garden green 5 yards a piece, which is more than enough ever for me. I use ribbon, but I guess I don't use it as often as I should. I don't know. So I'm going to put the ribbon in. And then I did add a little bit of dimension to the back of this. Because I end up taping it down, it doesn't look like there's that much on here, but you can see it, and it does kind of step away from the candy canes, which is what I was going for. So I went ahead and put the ribbon in first so that I could kind of catch the ribbon in the back because it's not going to show. And we'll take that off. And then it also kind of keeps it in place so that it stays half and half. Decide where you want it. I'm going to say right about there. Give it a little squeeze. Then all I did was take Scotch tape, a couple pieces. You can, use glue dots. You can use just some glue on it. You can use tear and tape, however you want to secure these in the back, but it doesn't show, so I'm going with the Scotch tape. Of course, I'm having a little bit of difficulty, but that's been par for the course here lately. I don't know what's up with me, but on camera I've been fiddling a little bit, but that's okay. So there we have that. This is plenty dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. I did elevate the other one. I don't think I'm going to on this one. And that's the beauty of making more than one. You can make little changes. There's nothing wrong with that other one. But I think there's enough dimension without adding it to the piece of red cardstock too. Especially if you're mailing it. If you're mailing this, I would add an extra one of those additional stamps. I think they're like, well, they were 20 cents. I don't know if they're 21 or whatever now, but an additional ounce, because I think once you put a gift card in this, I think it's going to be over the 1 ounce, and anything over 1 ounce up to 2 ounces requires that additional stamp. You don't have to put 2 whole stamps on it. You save yourself some money and buy the additional weight ones, an additional ounce, I think is what they call them. So there's Merry & Bright. I'll set that aside. And then let's get these dies out of the way. And I will show you how quick and easy it is to assemble our little, I'm leaving that open so it dries a little bit. I'm going to leave that out because I need it. So basically, there are 3 whole score lines. There's one there. There's one there. And one here. And that is it. They're even mitered properly for you. Like I said, you can make one of these up fairly easily. It just doesn't make sense to me when I have a die that will work perfectly, especially since I'll probably be making a few of these. But how easy is this? And then I just make sure that when I scored it and burnished it, I kept it straight, which I did. So there you have it. And isn't that cute with the DSP, because it changes the pattern, and there's room to put your gift card in. And what a nice gift. I mean, it's a pretty card. And I did just glue this. Our multi-purpose 2-way glue is pretty strong. I make a lot of boxes and things with just this, holding it, and works really well. So there you go. Merry & Bright. It's missing something, and I forgot to put it on the other one. And I will look real quick because I'm just thinking we need some bling. I have a lot of bling. Do I want a pearl? No. Yes. No. Yes, no, yes. I'm going to go with the all and lovely iridescent rhinestones. You can always color these if you wanted to, but I think that they pick up color very nicely. I'm just going to put that right here. And look how pretty that is. And then I'll go ahead and put one on here too, since I forgot. And put these away. This is rhinestone basic. I had to look at it sideways. All right. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this little tutorial. If you do, please leave me comments so I know if I'm hitting the mark on what it is you want to see. We're getting really close to Christmas now, so I'm not sure yet if I'm going to take a week off or not. It depends on how far ahead I can get. But if I don't see you again before Christmas, happy holidays. Thanks. Bye.